it's a very emotional game, and that doesn't give anybody the right, to be racist during that time.
Some students and alumni at Westlake High School say they are exhausted, fed up with what they call a culture of racism. Last night at 6 o'clock, we shared with you the emotional stories of more than a half dozen students who say school leaders are not doing enough to discipline their peers.
We told you districts are now required to have an online system for reporting complaints, but the system doesn't specifically track complaints of racism. And those complaints aren't just happening in the classroom.
KXAN education reporter Alex Capriello takes us inside the locker room of one of the more successful sports programs in Central Texas.
There are always a lot of high expectations for the Westlake High School football team. They're perennial contenders for the Texas State Championship. In fact, they even won it last year. However, despite that successful season, capped with a win at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, one star athlete tells me he wasn't always comfortable being there.
Touchdown, Chaparrals!
If you walk around Chaparral Stadium, you'll see athletes of the past. You'll notice they're all strikingly similar.
Being one of like the 3 black people on the team, there's a lot of stuff said.
Zane Miners gets the carry straight up the gut.
Zane Miners, a senior at Westlake, is a key part of the Chaps offense.
Miners running left, sheds a tackle, Miners in the end zone, touchdown Westlake.
Despite the teammates surrounding him, he says he often feels alone. In the locker room and on the field, Miners says it's normal for some of his peers to use the N-word.
It's appalling that it's thrown around so casually.
Also on the field, other students, past and present, share their own feelings of hurt.
I didn't want to say anything because the entire band, they weren't going to listen to me or change that.
2 former members of the Westlake Marching Band and Color Guard recall a performance in 2014.
Westlake High School Band from Austin, Texas.
Remy Ogunsanya and Jules Shelby, both in the class of 2016, say they were asked to twirl colorful Confederate flags and perform to an old Southern song, which they say was chosen by the school with lyrics glorifying picking cotton.
I never really quite forgiven myself for being a part of that.
6 years later, the district says it regrets the decisions it made for that competition and apologized, saying it will work to make their performances more inclusive and respectful. Officials with the University Interscholastic League, which oversees high school sports and music at the competitive level, told me they don't have any reports of racism from anyone over the past 10 years at Westlake High. Students tell me they don't typically share their concerns with coaches or teachers because they don't think it will make a difference.
A lot of things get reported, and they're very serious things, in fact, and nothing seems to get done. And that's the problem.
The UIL used to provide schools a sportsmanship manual before each season, asking athletes to refrain from disrespectful conduct like offensive remarks which insult others. Coaches had one too, pledging to stop anything that wouldn't reflect well on the school or the program. The UIL stopped distributing those manuals to schools years ago. Do you think Westlake High School puts as much emphasis on off-field behavior as it does on-field performance?
If we're going to have the expectation to do well in the classroom and in athletics, well, we should have that same expectation of how we're going to act and how we're going to present ourselves wherever we're at.
3 years ago, head basketball coach Robert Lucero was named Westlake's first ever diversity coordinator. He's Peruvian, which he says allows him to connect with other students and athletes of color if they're ever seeking help.
Students can feel comfortable reporting when something comes up, knowing that there's somebody like me on campus that they can come talk to directly.
In the 3 years he's had that title, Lucero says athletes have begun approaching him to share their concerns. But he wants to connect with the entire student body.
Athletics get glorified, and that's fine, but really it's more important that we take care of the people that aren't in athletics. Until I started to read and educate myself, I don't think I quite understood exactly all the different things that students can go through.
The district recently hired an outside consultant who will also help coaches, teachers, and staff become racially sensitive to student needs. As for Miners, he's already committed to playing football in college at Yale after graduation. But before he leaves, he hopes his story will give courage to other athletes of color who may also feel uneasy raising their voice.
With me being able to share this, they will actually realize that this stuff does happen to somebody that they know and somebody that they have been friends with, somebody that plays football. This happens in the Westlake community.
The UIL still has the power to enforce penalties against student athletes who are found in violation of the current athletic code. A local district executive committee made up of superintendents from across the area have the authority to deliver those punishments. That could include a suspension for up to 3 years from all practices and games. Now, during the course of this reporting, I've spoken to many people and uncovered other stories related to the treatment of students at Westlake High School. I'll be following up with the district to see how they're working with that consultant to actually address the current curriculum and school policies. Alex Capriello, KXAN Investigates.
The start of the high school football season for Westlake was pushed back due to the pandemic. The team can begin practicing on campus on September the 8th, the first game of the season scheduled for September 25th.
Right now in the investigative section at KXAN.com, we have an in-depth analysis of the reporting done for this story. Take a closer look at the numbers and the policies in place for the district. You'll also see a digital photo library and extended video interviews with students.